everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, or as I'm now known as, Kukul Khan, the Feather Serpent Dog. That is how you must address me now. And who am I talking to? I'm not going to say Brian is here representing Black Panther and Wakanda. We're not going to do that. But what I will do is say, because it's funny, we do have our resident Martin Freeman / Everett Ross in the ways of Devin.
Everyone's favorite colonizer.
Oh, the colonizer.
How you guys doing?
They call him Cuckoo God. Yeah. I wonder what we're discussing
little
this week.
preview to the main topic this week, listeners. Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, chilling, maxing, relaxing.
Yeah.
Happy Sonic Week as of last week. No other games came out that week, so we don't have to talk about it.
Absolutely happy Sonic Week.
Is happiness and Sonic two things that go together?
Listen, you shut up. I don't want to hear.
Sadly,
from everything we've ever discussed, I didn't know that was possible.
Sonic fans are having a good 2 years, and it's going to be ruined when that TV show comes out.
Oh no, that's hilarious. Maybe we'll talk more about that stuff in later segments of the show. But for now, let's hop into our first segment of the week, guys. Which here it is.
News talk.
First things first, listeners, if you want to skip to avoid spoilers or topics, or go to something that you want to listen to first or something, check the time codes for all that stuff. And now, John Wick Chapter 4 trailer came out. It looks like more John Wick shit.
Yep.
You know,
Chapter 4 of 29.
Yeah.
These movies are beloved, and I've watched the first one, and it was good. Don't get me wrong. I haven't seen the other two. One day I'll see them. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings for me now, where it's just at this point, it's almost laughable how much
You're
I've
gonna
missed
see
this.
them in 25 years,
right? But it comes down to it. But like, this just looks like the exact same thing. What?
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
Why
It
do
is.
people
They
love
are.
this
It
shit so
just
much?
makes a lot of money, so I think that's why they keep making.
I mean, it's just because they keep upping the ante in terms of some of the action. Like in one of them, he gets on a horse at one point, and it's like horse combat. Another one, they got some dogs. It might have even been the same movie, but yeah, it just gets nuts. The universe just gets more and more nuts every movie.
And John Wick just wants to go home and get another puppy, but he can't. He can't get out of the game.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's just funny when it's like, oh, you can get out of the game in this movie. It's like, so we're not going to have John Wick Chapter 5? Like,
Right, yeah.
I mean, he already said straight up that he will keep doing. Keanu Reeves will keep doing these movies as long as they want these movies. He loves it. He's having a great
I think
time.
so.
Which means I think, and I genuinely believe that the amount of like behind the scenes, like other training he does on these movies and everything, like very excited to see Donnie Yen and him square off in this movie, as well as I did not know that fucking the clown Bill Skarsgård is the villain in this movie.
He's gonna be the bad guy, right? The main bad guy who just randomly
Well,
just hates. He's got some beef.
Shout out to him. He does. He's great. I love seeing him get more work. I remember him from Hemlock Grove on Netflix, one of the first Netflix original shows when they became a streaming service. That show sucked. That show was terrible.
Damn.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Is John Wick gonna go to space? Like, is it gonna follow like Fast and Furious, where eventually
Fast and Furious route?
they have to go to space?
I would not be surprised if those crossed over.
Oh no!
Oh god!
Please God!
He just goes in there and murders everyone.
I need a ride.
No, he'd have to be a villain in one
no.
movie. They'd introduce him as a villain, and in the next movie, he'd be part of the team, obviously.
Right. That's hilarious. I mean, yeah, it's more John Wick. I'm excited to see more John Wick, but yeah, first one's still the best in my opinion, but they're all pretty great in their own ways. Next, Netflix is doing a Gears of War movie and an adult animated series.
Flop. Lose. And so if you bring up Netflix name, you might as well bring up bankruptcy in there because that's all they got at this point. Jesus Christ.
It just needs to be dumm and fun, and that would be that's all you can really do with games.
But you
Gears
know
of War
it
games
won't though,
are not very serious
because like those are at least the first 3 games. They're dumb, but they're not like a Fast and Furious where it's like they're kind of in on the joke. I think they deadly thought those were very serious and in tone. Like they're not. You know what I mean?
But like here's the thing: the Gears of War trailers, right? You guys remember like the like late high school, whatever. The trailers were always super angsty and like very sad. It's like, damn, like this is crazy. And then you play the actual game, and it's fucking meatheads that have like, suits of armor that are like 3 times their body weight, and they're just like rolling around and like, screaming at each other, like yelling shit for the entire game for 3 hours. So it's like, it's not very deep stuff in the actual
There's definitely
game.
a juxtaposition between that though, because there's definitely like you said, like the characters that die in these games. It's supposed to be like tragic stuff. Like the whole thing is supposed to be post-apocalypse as a whole. And I do think they, especially towards the third game, where they started like trying to mess with like Phoenix, or was it the fourth game? They started messing with his psyche and how like this shit's like actually like weighing heavy on him now. Like they definitely wanted it to be. Cliffy B just fucking sucks at writing. I don't know if he wrote the fourth and fifth.
They'll try stuff like that, and they got a character like Dizzy, who's just like this cowboy guy. He's like, like what?
I agree with you in that it should be like camp fun. I just don't know if they'll do that.
They should.
They got to do it like Doom, if anything.
Right. But interesting that they're then also doing an adult animated series, which it seems like Netflix is just getting into the video game adaptation into animation game with everything. So
stop. Don't do it anymore.
I will give it. Castlevania was amazing.
You got some wins, but don't press your luck.
Yeah.
We don't need this.
Okay, so we were talking about this a little bit before, but casting choices. Okay, so we got Marcus Phoenix, Dom, Baird, and Coltrane. Those are the main ones we got to cast. Who you cast?
Who the fuck is Baird?
He's just like the snarky white guy he's like the tech guy, and he's always like sarcastic and mean.
I mean, obviously, we already know that Dave Bautista said he wants to be Marcus Phoenix, and yes, if you make any choices, this is the easiest choice you can make in your life. Just do it.
Yeah, that's an easy casting choice.
I mean, he wants to be in it. Like it's, I mean, it's up for grabs right there.
Dave Bautista would be a Gears of War guy. Like you go into his house and his whole man cave is just decked out with like Gears of War stuff. Like I feel like that fits. That's very on brand for Dave Bautista.
Absolutely.
That's the thing is like, I feel like he can pull it both ways. If they're going the very like serious route, if you've seen Blade Runner, he's amazing in it, and it is a dour, serious role for him, and he pulls it off. They could do it, and I think he can also pull off the comedy camp route if they go that way as well. So I don't know why you wouldn't.
He just needs to be good at he needs to be good at yelling for 60% of his dialogue. He needs to be yelling at the top of his lungs.
I see Baird. Baird looks like a stupid idiot. Chad. So I think we should pick Chris Evans for that character. I think he'd be great for that.
Honestly, I think Chris Evans would be a pretty good Baird. I think
he's a good douche. He's good at playing douche. I would get on if you guys saw Knives Out.
Exactly.
Knives Out
he's a very good
really
douche.
good.
It's a good point.
Or the losers, like the sarcastic tech guy. That's it. Yeah, he's perfect.
I think that would be good. Yeah.
All right, Coltrane. I said earlier, just cast the dude who voiced him in the game.
Honestly, why not? Like, and his voice is the most like iconic thing about that character.
But we hate to give voice actors any kind of fucking anything. Right. So of course we're gonna fuck it with. Well, Netflix might not, because Netflix can't afford this many actors anyway. So
right. If not, then like I guess what The Rock.
Tyrese.
No, he wouldn't be a second hand. He would not be a second hand man.
He said
Tyrese Gibson would be great as Coltrane.
He's not nearly big enough.
He's not big enough, but he's not have the personality for it.
He definitely has personality for this type of movie. It's another
just
thing.
Think about when he's running around and screaming in Transformers. Just put him in like way more armor, and give him a chainsaw on his gun, and boom, you got the same character in Gears of War.
I'm trying to think of other big black dudes that aren't Terry Crews.
I mean, we said Terry Crews, but Crackdown already got him. So
I refuse to give
can't be Terry Crews.
Terry Crews this role. That man's too soft.
They should do the opposite and just go Kevin Hart.
But then modify his body. Like, just make it the whole time. They just CGI his body to be fucking huge. So he's just 6'3", 350 pounds of pure muscle. I think that would actually be amazing.
Oh, no. Netflix can't even. Netflix can barely afford the budgets on the effects. They gotta go afford the whole movie.
Let's be real. This whole movie's going to be shot in one room. And they're never going to go outside.
They keep him in small body, but then whenever he has a stunt double, it's like just somebody massive, like just in those cuts.
Right.
Like that. Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, and then Dom real quick. I said Vin Diesel just because, Dom, and he's a big, big dude.
He needs some hair, though, and he's going to look stupid with hair. Vin Diesel.
It's got to be Latino.
It's true.
Oscar Isaac, I guess.
That would be Bautista.
Right, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't have that good beard that makes him look just like Marcus Phoenix, I would definitely say Dom would be the second choice for sure.
Yeah. Somebody that can grow a beard.
I don't know. There's definitely nobody that's like thick up like that. There's no thick ass Latino dudes.
Well, no one exists. Yeah.
I mean, Dave Bautista's huge, which is funny because he's mostly vegan or some shit. But yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
They should just get the dude that played the Mountain in Game of Thrones and throw him in there somewhere.
And put him in a role that's like a lot of emotional depth.
I don't know, but either way, this will be interesting as fuck to keep track of.
I'll
and
give it a
see where this
watch.
goes.
I'll give the trailer a watch, and we'll see.
I would make a bet right now that they don't cast Bautista though. I bet you they
if they do, the show's ruined. Then they won't get my watch anymore.
But they did it. They did it with Witcher. They're like, hey, Henry Cavill said he's a big fan. He wants to do it. It's like, okay, cool.
That's true.
Easy.
That's a good point.
So I mean,
that's true.
I'm just thinking
we'll see.
money logistics. They might have another person in mind already that they want to spend all their money on.
Right.
True.
It depends if they're trying to make this like a Witcher and put all the money into it, or if they're trying to make this like a Resident Evil and put not as much money into it.
Right.
They love to do their new thing is getting one A-list actor and then just underpaying everything else in the movie. So
I mean, if they got the money, The Rock would fit in Gears of War. He's big enough on his own to fit in one of those suits.
I don't.
He would.
You know what kind of price The Rock
comical.
probably fetches? That man ain't getting in that movie.
Though he does do a lot of Netflix shit though.
This is true.
He does, yeah. Red Notice.
Oh God, I forgot about that movie. Sucks so bad.
So there is some kind of relationship there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It is very funny though. So let's go from something that's very funny to fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Devin sent this to us. Tell us about this ultimate VR.
Okay, let me read this to you, boys.
Call it.
Let me read this to you. All right, this is not it's on the Vice's Instagram page. Palmer Luckey, the man who created the Oculus Rift, has invented a virtual reality headset that will explode the forebrain of a user who dies in a video game while wearing it. Lucky's killer headset has 3 explosive charge modules that sit above the screen. The charges are aimed directly at the user's forebrain. Should they go off, they would obliterate the gamer's head. Quote, the idea of tying your real life to your virtual avatar has always fascinated me. You instantly raise the stakes to maximum level and force people to fundamentally rethink how they interact with the virtual world and the players inside it. Lucky himself has not worked up the balls to actually use it myself, he said.
No shit.
And has plans to keep tinkering with the technology.
To be fair, how does he know it works?
It's the first non-fictional example of a VR device that can actually kill the user. And quote, it will not be the last. I don't know what I'm more scared of.
Yeah, what the hell does that mean?
To add a little bit of context to this, which does not make it better, but it's definitely not being shown as like an art piece. Like people make art pieces that are kind of like weird or like torture devices or whatever. Don't love them, but they do exist. This was supposed to be a love letter to Sword Art Online, which, if you guys don't know, it's an anime and manga that's based around basically being virtual reality characters that when you die in the game, you die in real life. That's kind of what it's like based around. So he's saying he just really liked that idea a whole lot, and that's why he wanted to do this.
This is one of those things where it's like, it's not technology we should do.
I just had a thought of like, there's a way simpler version of this, and it's someone with a pair of sunglasses on playing a Game Boy. When they die, someone just shoots them in the head.
Yeah.
That was the first iteration.
This is like one of those things like the nuclear bomb, like, certain things like, shorting stocks. It's just certain things that we should just not think about and not do.
When you first sent this, I was like, this can't be real. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, it's absolutely real, and he's very excited about it. And what's interesting is that guy that's also made the Oculus Rift, it was also known for being does things for like military weaponry and stuff like that. He does a lot of military tool stuff, or at least he used to. I don't know if he still does. Before making this, because of course anything that is technologically advanced is either made for porn or for the U.S. military. Those are the two choices you have. Either you're trying to kill people or you're trying to fuck people.
True.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Honestly, not wrong.
And this time he took kill, I guess. That's fine.
I just can imagine like the U.S. military like paratrooping VR headsets into whatever land they're currently fucking around
Smart,
with,
honestly.
and just watching all of these innocent people put.
I'm gonna play
these
Skyrim,
headsets
boy.
on.
Let's go. Oh,
Putting
shit.
it on Halo on Legendary. And just like
Oh,
watch
it's
those
terrible.
heads pop off.
Yeah, you wanted to ask what game we would play.
But yeah,
right?
that's what I was saying. So boys, given this little situation for you, all right, let's say it's one of those like, remember the Gerard Butler movie where like he's like an avatar for like a game or whatever, and it's like pay-per-view death race kind of thing. So we have these headsets now. We get captured by whoever's the pay-per-view people around the world watching us, right? You got to pick one. You get to pick your game. Okay, you can't play it on easy, and you can't cheat, but you can play it on like medium difficulty. What game you going with that you cannot die at all, and you have to play through the entire campaign. You have to play through the story, whatever. You have to beat the game.
So first and foremost, new Death Row just dropped right here. No more fucking lethal injection. We're going full on. Let me play Skyrim. If I fucking win,
what
I'm
do you want for your last
life
meal?
sentence.
I want Skyrim.
If you beat the game, you're free.
You're free.
You get to leave.
Free.
Right.
It's a life sentence right there. Boom. Second,
oh man,
I'm going to say you said it has to be a game that I can die in, so it's not something that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't be Rocket League. Well, I don't know. You could play Rocket League, and then if you get demoed, you die. But that would be.
I was about to say
very
no, either
quick.
that or you lose.
Oh god.
Oh.
The stakes are
Well,
too high.
That's losing in Rocket League.
What elo and I am? Am I like top rank? Or am I playing against basically bots? I don't know.
Right. Like, who are my teammates? Because I need to. Can I hand pick them? Because I gotta pick wisely.
I feel like it's got to be it's got to be like a story game that you can die in, because like multiplayer, you would just, people die every match, so it'd be too easy, too quick.
I mean, my easy choice would be Last of Us, because I played it like 18 times and I could beat that game forwards and backwards.
Isn't it so easy to die though? The clickers?
Those clicker issues can be a thing if you don't got enough shivs on. But I think when you're playing normal, it's not bad. You can usually.
When you're on normal, like you're well enough prepared, and especially I know I'd be able to do it at this point. But first go through. I don't know. I'll be right.
Damn, dude. I was gonna say a Sonic game, but all Sonic games, 3D ones especially, all got fucking bugs and glitches. So I'm definitely gonna glitch.
I was about to say all them old games are out the window.
Oh yeah, I suck at those games. They're too hard. But then even the new games, I'm just gonna glitch through a fucking ground and die, and then I'm dead in real life.
Right? Does that count?
That's my only downfall with Skyrim, because I was gonna say Skyrim. And then just
there's way too many bugs in
Skyrim. Sometimes a random plate can just hit you the wrong when you'll die. And it's like, where'd the plate come from? Why am I dead to a plate? That's the experience right there.
A coffee mug just hits you in the back of the head, and you just like go into the death animation. I'm like, fuck, boom.
I do like the idea of Skyrim just because the world is pretty cool. So if I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna die. And because I'm assuming it's for playing Skyrim VR.
Plus, Skyrim VR, pretty cool.
That sounds like a pretty awesome experience. And if it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
It's like you were saying, Brian. You do the Iron Dagger trick, get up to 99, just do the main story. Easy.
That dragon's going down, baby. It's gonna take me like 16, 20 hours, but
I was about to say you're gonna be in there for a long time.
I don't know if I get some breaks, if I get to piss shit, because boy, gotta do something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Halo 2 on like normal. I could do Halo, but the only thing is, I get into like a routine, and you start like letting your you start.
You
getting,
would,
like,
and then a random
sloppy.
grenade's gonna blow you up.
And then you come up to like the Hunter boss fight, and you die. Also, Tartarus at the end. That's kind of a tough boss fight.
I don't know that I would do that one. More power to you, though. Good luck.
I mean, look, Skyrim's easy because every dragon fight, you just hide behind a tree, dink him with arrows until he dies. That's basically their boss fight. So.
I wonder how VR works with the arrow thing. Never mind, we're gonna get off track. I'm just like, what if I suck at shooting arrows? Like, will I die because I just can't shoot arrows, right? Because it's not like the game where I just press, the R button or whatever. If I could shoot shit.
That's a good point. I don't know, but yeah, I would put my money on Skyrim. I think, even with the bugs.
I would nominate you to try it first.
Yeah.
And so would Lucky. He would also like you to try it first.
Right.
I would respectfully put that right back at you. You can
All right. Real quick, last piece of news, because this was a pretty big thing. We don't really talk about death a lot on this podcast, at least not anymore, really.
Oh.
But we did have to say rest in peace to Kevin Conroy, who passed away after a short battle with cancer, apparently. He, as some and maybe most people know, is a lot of people's Batman, like their Batman. He's the voice actor who did Batman for the animated series and the Arkham series, and the most Batman animated stuff, in like Injustice, and most people would say he is the best Batman voice, period. And they're all probably right. Like I can't think of one better. Definitely not Christian Bale. But 66 years old is way too fucking young. That sucks.
Yeah.
And from everything that I've seen and read online, he was an awesome dude. And me personally, animated series, I think we all kind of watched bits and pieces of it, so he's fantastic in that. But I guess spoilers right now, I will say, for the CW universe of shows, of superhero DC shows.
There's no spoilers with that. No one cares.
Yeah. So they did their big Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, and they got Kevin Conroy to play a live action Bruce Wayne. So he got to actually be Batman Bruce Wayne one time in live action,
fucking dope.
which is pretty fucking cool and amazing.
That is
so
cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome for him.
Wow, DC CW doing something not shitty.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, them crossovers were dope, dude. That was the highlights every year.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
No, that's super sad though. It's always sad to see someone so talented and just such a cool person. From what I've read some stuff about him as well. He was definitely well loved by the community.
He definitely is the quintessential Batman voice for sure.
Oh yeah, no other one like him.
Mm-hmm.
So, R.I.P. All right, guys, that is the news for the week. Shall we now move on to our main topic of today?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
But first, we're trapped in another fortress, guys. This fortress is a doozy. It's full of a lot of emotion. It's a full of a lot of well, I don't want to spoil anything if people haven't seen it yet. I don't know why you're listening, but maybe you are. So I think we should just get into it. We're in the Fortress of
Black
Make any
Panther.
of the noises that they be making, the chants, or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself like that.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe try to say like the guy like when they shoot to Wakanda and that one guy's like nah, like kind of like Lion King, but nah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do it. That's exactly why. And I don't think you should either.
It was gonna be a miss no matter what. We're getting canceled.
Right. All right. Yes, listeners. So we are in here. The moment the day has finally come. We are in the Fortress of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the sequel, obviously, to the original Black Panther, and the end of Phase 4 of the MCU.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Phase mid has finally ended. We'll see if it continues in Phase 5. But yeah, this has been fucking long anticipated. Mostly I would say not even just from the original movie being as great as it was, but for the obvious reasons of Chadwick Boseman's fucking tragic death in 2020, the fucking worst year in a long time, I would imagine, for a lot of people.
In the most recent century, for sure.
Yeah. But I will say, before we get into spoiler stuff, overall, I will say I want to see this again. And I definitely think this is going to be one of those movies that I will love even more. Like, I liked it. I will start off easily saying I like the movie. There's some issues with it for me by the end. And I definitely think I'll like it more a second time with lower expectations. But I will say, it's also because this movie had so much shit it was trying to do and what it had to do and what it was tackling. And I will say there are some things in it that I don't think it needed to be in there on top of the shit that it was already had to deal with for the past. Because I'm like, you guys already had so much to handle and you even added to your plate. And that's why I give it props because for the most part, it fucking succeeded in those things.
It pulls it off.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I did love it. It definitely wasn't on what I expected, which we'll get into as well. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I'm feeling about pretty similarly at the fact that I did enjoy it. I think it was there were times where it was really, really, really good. There were times where it was not so good, and there were times in between because this movie's fucking long. This movie's 2 hours and 41 minutes. We need to get away from that when it comes to this movies being this damn long. 2 hours. Come on, guys. I have ADHD. I can't sit still for that long. You gotta give me a break here. I'm of course gonna be biased because the cultural significance of this movie and just Black Panther as a whole, and then also the passing of Chadwick Boseman left a lot of people with heavy hearts and with a lot of emotional connection to like this series specifically as a whole, even people that aren't Marvel fans. So I definitely was feeling that going into it. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a rating right now, so you guys know we got the Brian rating right now. We'll give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is what I'm
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Same one as my girlfriend. Yeah. Mine. My overall takeaway from this was I'm just happy that Marvel still got it because the last few movies were trash. So
I would say
just filled with a lot of character assassination, Wanda, and just like useless, not funny movies, Thor. So it's just nice to know that when like Ryan Coogler, love that guy, he's great. First Black Panther was probably the best, one of the top Marvel movies just for depth of like villain and like just a great story and the conflicted hero and just like everything that these movies should be. The first one blew it out of the park. This one, pretty close to it. So for me, I was just really happy that Marvel, and I think I was going in no matter what, like, because afterwards, my girlfriend was telling me stuff like, like, well, what about this? Couldn't they have been smarter with this and this? And I'm like, yeah, but, and usually where I tear down a movie, I was like such an apologist. I'm like, no, like it makes sense. Like the Wakandans are smart and they're awesome. Like this is the coolest thing. So no, I think no matter what it was, I was going to be like positive, feeling.
I mean, I don't think any of us went into this movie thinking it was going to be bad at all. Like, I think we all kind of assumed this movie would at least be good.
Yeah.
Like, so it would have had to have been like the worst thing ever for it to not to be good, know?
I mean, but to be fair, it had every potential to be because like you said, this movie was a logistical nightmare. They had that throughout the script. They like this had everything going against it as far as like movies go. Like it couldn't have been more of a stress. I feel like,
Yeah, right.
and then with
Yeah.
also like they talked about like injuries that happened, and also some actors saying some dumb shit on the internet,
Yeah.
almost fumbling that bag. Kind of, there was a lot of things going against this movie that
there's a lot of baggage
Yeah.
with this. Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe they
sure.
had some turbulence, but they landed the plane, which is more than I can say for the other movies they've made recently. So
They landed the plane, but the wheels fell off in some of the other movies. Let's be fair.
yeah, the other movies didn't even have engines or wings. It was just like a metal
I will
tube.
say though that I'm the opposite of Brian, sort of, in the sense that this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and by the end of it, I thought it needed to be longer, just because either cut stuff and make it shorter, like Brian said, or make it longer. Because my issue, and we'll get into it, is the third act's pacing a little bit, teeny bit, or just of some weird.
We'll talk about the third act. Don't you worry. We'll talk about the third act.
So with that, let's get into spoilers from here on out, because we know that's what you're here for, listeners. Let's talk about the opening and the Chadwick Boseman stuff, but mainly that opening was when it started, dude. I was like, oh, we're getting right into this. Oh,
they went straight for funeral as the very beginning, basically.
like I was definitely. I mean, it was a smart choice to be like, yeah, we're getting this in and out. We're doing this. Like, you're gonna not see his death, but see the moment of his death through Shuri's eyes. And it's fucking haunting, dude.
It hit harder than I expected. Going into this, I already know what to be expecting. I think just having that be the first thing they showed was like, oh, he's sick. He's gone. I was like, oh, I hate this. I'm gonna cry in a movie theater by myself. This is really awkward.
But I think that was so smart. Like the way they did the whole first act of the movie was so smart, because it made us like, we and the characters are grieving together. So like it was so smart for them to do that, because it really puts you in, like, you can relate to the characters so much, because like, they're equally as shocked as we all were when we heard the news that, Chadwick had passed away. I just love that choice by them, the way they did it. I think they did it very tastefully. Like, they didn't say what he died from. They didn't try to do any CGI him in there or anything like that. Like, it was just like,
which we'll talk about that in a very significant scene later. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys saw it the night it came out, and like when they did the Marvel crawl, when it was showing all the scenes of Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, you could have heard a pin drop. Like, it was completely silent,
dead fucking silent in my theater when I saw it, and I was like,
So listen.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to go see it with Oscar, just because of timing issues. We were able to see it together. So I went and saw the matinee the next morning at 11 a.m. So it was about me and maybe like 10 motherfuckers up in there. When I tell you it hit that moment of silence, and there's a motherfucker just chomping on that goddamn popcorn. All 40 seconds of that moment of silence, that man was just... I've never wanted to uppercut somebody so hard for him. Like, read the fucking room, bro. People are crying, and you're over here like, man, this fucking popcorn slaps. God damn, bro.
This is like,
come on,
moment of silence. For our fallen veterans, whatever. It's like, you can't eat during that shit.
Take your goddamn hat off, bro. Like, what's going on here?
What the fuck?
Damn, that sucks.
I wanted to fist fight that man so bad. Other than that, it was beautiful. I really did think that was a great addition.
Like, because we saw it opening night, and like, you're at the mercy of people, which sucks. Because like, usually when you see a movie, I usually wait a week or two, see it with a more empty theater. But man, when every seat is full, there's a lot of rustling, a lot of coughing, sneezing, just people just being people. So I don't know. Luckily, they held out. But
I will say, I didn't think about this till like maybe the next, like 2 days later after this movie, with his funeral service, which I thought was beautiful and amazing. One thing that I kind of wish, I do and I don't. I don't because of the cultural significance of it just being Wakanda and his funeral, but for the continuity of the MCU, I kind of wish that the Avengers did something.
Yeah.
Someone showed up, someone sent something. Like, they just lost a leader, and he was an Avenger by the end of it. He was an Avenger based on Infinity War and Endgame. And they just lost an Avenger. And I kind of wish we had seen some of the characters in the universe, other than people in Wakanda, like, respond to that, just a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's
mostly because I'm like, yo, that's disrespectful, Avengers. What the fuck? Y'all didn't even show up to the man's funeral?
But it could have been secret, though, because, like, because at the time, I think it was like, a year later is when the movie really starts. But at the time, I mean, Wakanda's pretty secretive, so maybe they like...
It's true.
But to be fair, the Avengers would know. I mean, they have those channels open. But yeah, to me, it didn't bother me, though, because this is a Wakanda story.
Oh, no. Again, that's why I'm saying it didn't hit me till like 2 days later. I was like, yo, why weren't any of the Avengers? They didn't send a note.
Some of y'all are pretty good friends with him, right? Like, y'all
right?
suck.
I do wonder if,
Yeah.
probably not, but if there will be any kind of acknowledgement in the future to someone saying anything to Shuri or anything. Like, I do wonder about that. But I don't know. We'll see. Other than that, I thought the opening past the Marvel credits with the Dora Milaje kicking the shit out of all these Frenchmen was dope as hell.
And the way they stroll him in there to the UN chamber, like as prisoners.
Badass,
like,
man.
Neo.
Listen, the homegirl talked her shit.
The thing that I was thinking during that is like it was a flip, I think, of like some kind of colonial thing that you might have seen in the past where like they brought, native Africans into like some European thing and like, made them, whatever. And like, so to see that kind of flip, I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Angela Bassett kills it in this entire fucking movie, starting in that scene. Like, she's amazing.
My girl is the star. Let's fucking go. Angela Bassett is an incredible actor.
It is her movie for like the first half, basically, up until,
Also, homegirl is ripped as shit. Why is everybody so ripped in this movie? Everyone is shredded for no reason, especially all the Wakanda characters are just fucking traps out and shit.
Working.
Also, she's like, Angela Bassett's her hats. There's got to be a word for that kind of hat. That hat is badass.
It is super cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, just kind of going through opening stuff, which I don't know. You guys had anything else to say besides we move on to the first Namor attack, whichever how you want to say it.
That was spooky.
Which we'll talk
they
about
get real white people about it. Just call it Namor.
Yeah.
I love that scene. That scene was so cool.
That scene was chilling when they the Sonic attack. That's some dark shit, dude.
It's like a siren song.
Did the mermaid shit. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Even though it affected men and women, they kept it not so gender normative. It's not just men. Took some women down too.
Yeah.
And also like they kind of kept like I think the music was kind of rising. It was kind of getting louder and louder as like as the threat was like growing. I don't know. Like I love that whole scene. Like I thought it was so cool.
I will say I am sad. The one woman agent who was like your main kind of character in that moment, played by Lake Bell, she's like a pretty-ish famous person. So I was like, and she does like she used the voice of Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn show, and she's also like very funny. She does a lot of comedy shit. But I was like, oh damn, you're never gonna be in MCU again now.
She is at the bottom of the ocean.
10 minutes.
Thanks for the cameo.
I was like, damn.
And the way that Namor killed that helicopter was fucking hilarious.
Dude.
Like he just grabbed the tail and just spun it around. Like
he's like Superman.
That dude is super fucking strong with those little tiny feet wings.
Yeah, with his little Michelin tire wings, like whatever. Or what light year.
Which
I don't know.
I can't believe they pulled off that look though. Like you think on paper that's ridiculous with the tiny little green shorts. Oh, I think they did, dude. I think it looked great. I think it worked for that character.
My man is wearing a pair of underwear and has some fucking Greco-Roman flight shoes on.
Yeah, man. This dude got some boxer briefs.
He's wearing boxer briefs that somehow
boxer briefs
grow with him.
He's wearing swimmer shorts almost.
He got some jammers. Those are some swimming jammers.
Okay, if that's your issue, I will say then it's not the worst costume in this movie.
But Brian, you said, well, we can get to that. But Brian, you said it when he was young.
When he was young, he's wearing the same fucking boy shirts. Did they just grow with him, or does he buy a new pair? What happened?
He's
this
a
man
mutant.
has not changed clothes for 500 years. Okay. This guy's been around for 500 years. He wore the same pair of shorts. All right.
I'm wearing them right now.
They live
I got a pair
underwater.
On right now. So you just wear swim shorts?
They don't need shit. They live underwater.
I don't know. I don't know what I
feel
expected.
like your society can only advance so far underwater. They got no other outside influence. They just do them.
I mean, fair enough. He is swimming a lot, so I guess that's fair. But I don't know. I thought he looked good, but it was just kind of funny when he's just like, and I'm swimming, like, ooh.
Right. I mean, we're here. Let's just talk about him as a character. I loved him. I thought he was fucking amazing in every scene he's in, dude.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic.
The actor is phenomenal. I think his deliverance of lines was probably some of the strongest in the movie as a whole, between him, Angela Bassett, and probably Riri Williams. I just think that he was...
Riri Williams?
Yeah, I think... Well, we'll get into that. I think Homegirl was killing it.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I think that guy is great. He just does great work, it looks like.
I definitely think he's the standout of the movie.
He had some
as far
swag.
as the newcomers coming.
The Pedro Pascal of the Wonder Woman, for sure.
Yeah. I loved all the Spanish influence of his character that they've changed for this version of the character. Mostly because when he first pops up and he says Namor, I was like, oh, I've never heard it said that way. Because like usually I hear people say Namor or Namor, and then he said it. I was like, Oh, that's funny. I wonder if
Namor.
that's gonna come back. And it did. I was like, oh, okay, it was love. Okay. All
I
right.
don't love
Works out
how he's
pretty
just like,
conveniently.
yeah, it's
No
like
love.
the no love, and it's like, no more. Okay,
Eh,
that's fine.
I'm into it. I was into
it
it.
worked for
I
me.
like that
Yeah.
Maybe
change.
don't explain
Yeah.
it to me next time. But
And it beats him being just some generic, like, Widow's Peak looking white guy.
this is true.
Yeah.
That
they
character
Yeah.
originally was.
design is uggo. God damn, that dude
Yeah.
fucking atrocious looking.
He was like Atlantean or something. I don't know. I just like how they changed that whole backstory and made it, Aztec. Like I watched like a YouTube video on like the history of Namor.
I mean, they
Right.
say Namor in the movie as well. I mean,
Every
Yeah,
Wakanda
but-
did that, and that pissed me off. I was like, y'all are so accident. You really gonna choose that way to say it? Namor.
But his
Okay.
his whole origin story in the comics was trash compared to what they did in the movie. Like I'm so glad they changed it. Like
I mean, it's Aquaman. It's literally, it's just, it's Aquaman.
Right.
right.
He's literally the half human god of Atlantis, and that's why it's not named Atlantis in this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I do wonder. There's a thought where, had Aquaman not come out and done what it did, like the Jason Momoa movie, I wonder if this looked differently or if this was always the plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like underwater kingdoms always feel kind of generic,
Yes.
Like, and this one did a pretty good job. I thought Talocan was pretty cool, but like, maybe it's just the lack of visibility because you're underwater. But like, it's just like in Aquaman, I couldn't tell you what Atlantis looked like in Aquaman. And like,
Oh, see, I'm an opposite. I liked all the fluorescent colors in Aquaman because it worked for that movie. And this one, I did think there was bits where I was like, I get it. You're in the depths. There should be no light, but I can't fucking see, man.
And I wonder if that was like more of a like budget kind of thing. They were like, they don't really
Maybe.
need to see all of this. Like we put a lot of stuff in the other
Right.
place. So it's just like, okay, I mean, like
Mhm.
you have some light, but wherever you need light to see like how I don't know how big Talocan is because
I don't know what Talocan really looks like.
because you only see like the throne and then you see like maybe like 2 buildings and everything else is just shrouded in darkness. Then you see 8 children playing
Yeah.
outside and that's it. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not mad at it, but also
Yeah.
like I was really curious on how this world was gonna look, and it didn't sell it for me.
It didn't really.
Yeah, compared to Wakanda.
I did think the whole sun, the sun he has underwater aspect was very cool,
Mhm.
but that's kind of where it ended.
Right.
that was very vague.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
like
Yeah.
they have a lot of vibranium. I guess that's kind of the whole point of the story, but I don't know.
Right. But again, so like you've seen what Wakanda does with vibranium. It's like,
Well, yeah.
I want to see what did they do? Like, why is, and I just wanted to see more of
They-
it. And
they
like,
made
that's what I
8
missed.
spheres. Yeah, I mean, because it's a movie about parallels, as it comes down to the whole thing. And I feel like you really got
Right.
shat on when it came to your side of the parallels. You didn't get shit. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Telecom kind of
Again, that's why I think this movie's so big. I think it still needed to be bigger in parts. Maybe cut other stuff to make room for this stuff. But yeah.
I can agree with that.
I think the song though, and maybe this is just for the entire movie, but having recently seen Black Adam, that song when she's like when Sherry's exploring with Namor underwater.
Oh yeah.
That was a really cool song. It fit the vibe perfectly. But like I think the music cuts in this movie were just
Oh,
like it was
much
just
better
so
choices.
obvious. Yeah, after seeing
Oh
Black
yeah.
Adam, you're
In
like,
comparison, yeah.
you're like, oh thank God, these are so much better. Like
Like even
Yeah.
if it's still just like pop culture kind of music, they just know how to better put pop culture the music
Mhm.
into their movies. Black Adam just fucking
Right.
found random shit and put it in there.
Yeah.
I think most of the music was like either African or like some kind of like Latin, like
It was it was
Mexico
based
kind
on
of
where exactly where they were going. Yeah.
So I
Or
thought
which
that was
characters
really
they were
nice.
focused on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, he's definitely top 3 Marvel villains at this point.
I like him, yeah. But
Yeah.
is he even going to be a villain? I mean, in the future?
I mean, he's pretty fucking villainous in this movie, even if you do understand him.
That's the only downside to his character to me because he's saying, like, Brian and I were talking about it a little bit, but it's like he's saying a lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense, right? And like you have this kind of conflict between them of like, I need to kill the scientist to protect my people because, we are like Wakanda, like whatever, your whole thing was secrecy for a long time. Our whole thing still is secrecy. Now that they're looking for vibranium everywhere, we can't risk being found because of what I've gone through. And then they show you the flashback
Right.
of when he was young, right? Makes a lot of sense. Can we just stay there? But instead, they then elevate it to like, oh, and also I'm
Take
gonna
over the
declare
world.
war on the entire surface world, and we got to
Yeah.
kill all the humans. It's like, well, you're not going to stay secret then.
Like,
So like,
Right. That's where it kind of, I was like, oh,
That's where you
okay.
see kind of
typical
lose them.
Marvel thing when you're almost like, yeah, I get it. They're like, we gotta make it so you don't. We gotta
Right,
make sure we
right.
ruin this character for you pretty bad. Because newsflash, Namor, I don't know if you know this, colored people live on the surface. that are also being enslaved, just like you said your people were when you went to the surface. You're gonna kill them too, or you're gonna give them some kind of liberty, or are you just gonna kill every single person that doesn't fucking float around? I don't.
I'm
what is
pretty
happening?
sure he was gonna kill every
Exactly. That is ridiculous, bro. What are you thinking? Some of the people look like you, brother. Like the fuck, like this is fucked up.
And also, we've established from that spooky scene at the beginning, when you did find their machine, you were very easily able to take it out. So it's like it's not, and they didn't even know what it was. They thought it was the Wakandans. So really, like, even if the humans did eventually find out about you,
there's no way
like
they could
fine.
take them. Yeah, there's no way in hell.
Just be defensive.
Like, he is so strong.
Right. Like, I don't really know what he was worried about. It's like, and sure, he's telling you like, oh, we'll just keep her in Wakanda, no problem. And like, he couldn't just be like, okay. Like, it's like, no, I must kill the scientist. Like,
right.
So, but that's why he was.
You do know there's other scientists, right? More exist. Like, she's not the only one.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we move on from him to that, well, we can go straight to that scientist in a second. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about him until maybe later. But I just him as a character as a whole, really dug him. Really thought like all around really good. He's kind of got like the middle act to himself. Obviously, that's where his origin comes from and all that jazz. But yeah, I thought he fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Great.
Black Panther right now has gone 2 for 2 when it comes to villains and being like, especially coming from places of oppression, because it's places that make sense.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate that a whole lot.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler and I'm sorry, I can't remember who the other writer on this movie was, clearly cared about the culture that they were getting his influence from.
Right.
And I loved all of those aspects of it. And then this movie is so much one of my first notes that I wrote after watching this movie was like, so many black and brown beautiful people. Just all around. And blue.
Yeah, I didn't love the blue as much, but that's fine.
Blue/brown, yeah. Brown when you're under the water, blue when you're above it, I guess.
That was a thing that they used to do in a lot of, they make fun of that with some black movies and stuff. It's like whenever there's a black person in Disney, they always turn it to an animal. You can't just be black the entire movie.
Right.
Now we're seeing the Latin community get the same treatment.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing to get like more cultures, represented. The representation's crazy. Cool. I think the actor himself, I'm not familiar with his name, but he said in an interview or something that, he thinks this might be a big step forward for, I think he's maybe of indigenous descent. I'm not sure about that, but said maybe like in Mexican TV that like they always favor people that are lighter skinned.
Mm-hmm. Colorism,
which seems to be
a
pattern.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing with every culture.
Right.
The whiter you are.
Right.
Yeah.
maybe this will change that a little bit.
So the people up in Black Panther are black. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But the nice thing about Namor is like, especially for the MCU standard, is we might get to see more of him. Like,
finally, Marvel didn't kill their villain. I was like, please don't do it. Thank God.
Yes.
Please.
I truly
don't
thought
do
they
it.
were.
Yes.
And I was going to be realistic.
Oh, for a second I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, he's kind of like a big deal in Marvel. Like, you can't just one-off kill him. Do not do that.
She fucked him up. Well, I mean, we'll get there eventually, but anyway. But yeah, no, it's just, I was so happy that like, because like comic book villains are supposed to be alive too. They're supposed to be around doing stuff. And the way they left it, he might not even be a villain when they come back next time. So I don't know. I would like to see him be.
in the comics, he kind of floppy a bit. He is in the Illuminati.
He was in the Illuminati
with the
so you never know.
He got big beef with Black Panther though, so that's gonna be forever. Yeah. So what we were saying earlier, let's move on to that scientist that the entire plot revolves around, and I think it might not have to have.
Yes, it is 100% a completely preventable and stupid thing. That's one of the weaker parts of the storyline. Is just like, are we really going to base this whole thing around one little girl and willing to kill hundreds of Wakandans and hundreds of Talakans over it?
Yes.
Yep.
Because she's really smart and goes to MIT.
Wait, you mean a Wakandan village school?
I thought she killed it. I really liked Riri Williams. Again, like obviously, besides the fact that she probably didn't need to even be in this movie, I still liked her character. And I thought she was good. And I'm excited to see more of her. But again, I don't think in this already overstuffed movie, I do not think she needed to be the major plot device. You could have written something different.
She is one of two things that I think could have been completely cut from this movie. And I do think that it just, just to create her origin story in this was a waste of 30 minutes.
Which they did and didn't at the same time.
Right.
Right. It's almost like she gets another reboot at the end of the movie. So
yeah. Right. Yeah, because she had to give the suit back.
They really don't give
it. So it's
just go back to you can go back to MIT now.
Which is a super safe thing that they did there. And they might have done that for a reason because they wanted to like soft boot. It's like soft launch what the suit would look like. and people hate it. People hated her suit.
It don't look good.
People really fucking disliked their suit. I saw a lot of clamoring about it on Twitter, and I was like, I didn't feel strongly about it one way or another. I think it looks really fucking, I don't know, PlayStation 2 character kind of look.
She looks like a Transformer.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like something from Mega Man or something. Like
yes, or that.
Campy.
And like, I don't even think it's the suit for me. And we'll talk more about this later as well. It's just the mask, the face, her Ironheart face, the helmet part looked terrible to me.
She looks
like
real
that
dumb.
does not look
a
good.
character from a shitty video game, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
that suit belongs in like an anime somewhere, not.
Yeah, it did not look
also,
great.
we will talk about it a little bit because I'm assuming this suit was completely CGI, at least for the most part. Because there was one time at Act 3 where she takes off the mask. The first time she takes off the mask, and her face like jitters because they fucked up. No. I guess in post they might have fucked up the tracking.
Oh no!
And I noticed that instantly, and I want to talk about it so bad because that was bad. We'll get to that. Damn. We'll get to that Act 3. We'll get there at some point.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry.
But yeah, her suit was ass cheeks for sure.
Yeah, it was, and again, tied for worst. Not even the worst, but tied for worst. Yeah, so I mean, I liked her character. I liked her whole intro to MIT. That chase was fine. Her flying around. I don't think her flying all the way up into the atmosphere looked that great, but whatever. It's what it is. I definitely thought Okoye was gonna fucking die in this moment, though. I was super worried in this moment because the whole thought behind when I was happening in this movie was like, can they afford to kill anyone in this movie after a real life person died? I was like, will they do it? Spoilers, they fucking did it later. I was shocked beyond belief. But I definitely thought I was worried for Okoye in this moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I thought it would have been probably an interesting thing to play around with because the whole situation is supposed to be that like, oh, these people are as strong as we are, and that's crazy. They have vibranium too. But I guess you had to have someone to come back and tell everyone else that, like, yo, these people, these guys fuck. I don't know if you've seen them.
Right.
Also, like, they're very vague on the Talocan's like power, like because she definitely fucking kills 3 of them, and then they just get right back up. Like, okay,
they are strong as fuck.
Do they have like vibranium in their bodies? And they,
then later they do kill one, so it's like I don't.
Yeah,
and then later they can. So that was really vague to me because like it was inconsistent because like they wanted to show you how scary they are at that first fight, but then later.
Right.
They definitely can die. So it's like
maybe it goes back to the whole thing with like it depends how dehydrated they are.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have a Gatorade before that last fight and they were very hydrated because they just came out of the ocean.
The way I'd be carrying around an Ozark Trail at all times with my fucking back, a little back bladder. Give me some more of that shit, bro. It's getting a little hot outside. What's the weather? You said partly cloudy? Oh, we good. Yeah. We good. We chilling.
All I need is a soft drizzle and I'm good to go.
I thought they looked really cool though. Like the girl, like his Namor's 2 like lieutenants, the guy with the hammerhead
dude and
head thing, and the girl with like the feathers. I mean, they looked sick.
Some of the costume design in this movie is phenomenal. Just like very, very good. And I did like their stuff a lot. I did like how they did the mask with the water inside of it. I thought that was interesting. Right. Maybe it felt very like Avatar adjacent, not just because they're blue, but just kind of like the way that their garb looked and stuff like that. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, side tangent, because I forgot when we were talking about Namor and Talocan. I have to say, because then I was complaining about how it was dark. I will say, they did a huge disservice to this movie by playing the Avatar trailer before.
Yes.
Because that looks amazing underwater world. And then I saw this, I was like, ah, damn it.
that looks fine. Okay.
That's funny.
But that's the thing. They are way deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just dark. It was a cavern, it's not like sunlight in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it was also like, it just didn't show, like, it didn't show depth, it didn't show mass, it didn't show the amount of people that are there. Except for we saw like 8 people just kind of hanging around. No one really doing anything.
And and like, they didn't do, or at least it looked like to me, they didn't do like the Aquaman Momoa stuff or even the Avatar stuff where it's like, they're not actually filming underwater. But like, so like in some shots, like when Shuri first goes down there in the suit and there are people like coming up to her helmet and looking, it clearly, at least to me, looked like it's just people holding their breath. And I was like, that doesn't look very good. But it's so quick, which is why they probably just did it like that instead of wasting money on CG. But I was just like, it don't look like they can just function underwater. Right. It looks like they're holding their breath.
Yeah, they didn't really look like great swimmers.
Yes.
No, that's what I'm saying, But anyways, where were we? We just finished talking about them kicking their ass, which fucking Okoye gets fired in one of the more sadder scenes in the movie. I was like, damn, I get it, Ramonda, but damn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she failed in protecting the princess, and it was her idea that she came with her in the first place. You failed
that was cold.
pretty considerably as a general at that time. I know we're friends, I know we're besties, we've been through some shit, but girl, you fucked up.
And why did they go, like, if that was going to be a possible result of that mission, why wouldn't you bring more of that bodyguard unit to go with you? Like, why did it have to be just you and Shuri?
I do think that they've gotten to the point where they're a little bit arrogant in their ability, because like none of these white people can do anything against us. Look at them. And then you meet people that could finally actually be formidable opponents. I mean, you've watched the troop actually like beat the shit out of Avengers and stuff in other movies. So it's like,
I mean, also had they not shown up, they would have gotten away. Like they would have succeeded in the plan of getting away. Like had the Talokan people not shown up, you know?
Right.
So they were kind of right. They just didn't expect them to be there. And so let's talk about the other thing now that we're done with Riri and all that for now. The other thing that, at least in my opinion, I like, and I understand why it's in this movie, at least half of it, but the other half does not need to be a movie, and that's Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character.
Ugh, yeah.
Yes.
I get it. They're building Thunderbolts and all this, but yeah, it didn't really do anything.
I think the whole agent, all of that stuff outside of that, I thought was just kind of not necessary. I don't feel like I gained much from it.
Yeah.
Homeboy talked on the beads 3 times and then went to jail, and then that was it. And I was like, okay.
I feel like it's mostly because like he was in the first movie, so bring him back for the second and give him something to do. And I like Martin Freeman. I thought he was good in what he did. Like I liked it. I thought it was weird as hell that they were married. Yes. That's a new piece of info that I did not think we'd need.
That was very odd.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that part.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, by the end I was like, cutting that you work, and the movie works. My only thing is maybe the connection that they're trying to establish there is because we've talked about the Thunderbolts and how they get the name from General Thunderbolt Ross, who was now recast by Harrison Ford. Maybe because Red Hulk is in the Thunderbolts, he's supposed to. We don't know if that'll happen. I doubt they're gonna make Harrison Ford.
Man, it's way too fucking old. Yeah.
So maybe they get the next best person with the last name Ross, and maybe this Martin Freeman homeboy will become the Red Hulk. And that's a connection. I don't know. I'm reaching because I want to know why they put that in the movie.
The thing for me is that this could have easily just been like a mid-credit scene to explain all of this, and we still would have gotten to see the cameo that we wanted. Like, oh shit, it's a boy. He fucking did a thing, and it would have saved us 30 more minutes. Yeah, that could have been used probably much more effectively at a later point. Because it was just it was the tie to the outside world, I guess, of just him speaking to them on the beats.
Right.
Him and then getting in trouble, getting in jail, and then Okoye breaks him out at the end. Like, okay,
right.
None of this was necessary, really.
But I think they did want to show like what the American government was thinking, and kind of to give like some perspective on like what the world powers were thinking.
That's fair.
And it was kind of vindicating to Namor and Wakanda, because it's like, the U.S. is like at the slightest provocation that they couldn't even confirm. They're like, okay, it's time to declare war on Wakanda. It's time to go full America freedom. We're going to bring freedom to Wakanda.
Oh, no.
And it's like, bro, it's not going to go very
well. And I think that would have been cool if America actually ended up doing anything, but they didn't. After all of that, they listened to one dude to be like, hey, I'm an expert. And they're like, okay, that's fair. We're still going to try to do it. And I know.
Yeah, that's one of the things where I like this movie had enough on its plate already.
Yeah.
Why did you add to it? Switching to things that I love this movie, let's talk about Nakia, her side quest to save Shuri. For one thing, I love that Lupita Nyong'o got to flex her Mexican origins, which I thought was very cool. It was funny. I saw this with my father, and after the movie ended, he's like, "She speaks really good Spanish. Like she got no like weird act. Like that was." I was like, "Yeah, it's because she can. She was born in Mexico, and speaks Spanish." I was like, and so yeah, he was like shocked by that. But I love that he kind of in his own brain like realized that, and I was like,
that's super cool.
I wouldn't have,
I didn't know that either. I just figured that. Like I was like, damn, she must have took some like maybe she had a trainer or something that worked really hard with her, because I thought I don't speak Spanish, but I was like, that sounds correct. Yeah,
that sounds correct.
Of
that
the
sounds
land.
Right.
So, very cool for her. I mean, I love Lupita Nyong'o. She's great in everything. She's so good in this movie.
I hate her outfit.
Yeah.
Oh,
see, I kind of liked her outfit.
I thought it was cool.
I hated her Aquaman ass outfit.
I thought it was cooler than the last one, but I was just happy she had a big role. She had a big part.
Me too.
They gave her,
too.
I guess what probably Okoye would have been doing in most of the movie. They gave it all to her.
Right. And I guess they kind of had to for the post credits, mid credits, whatever.
Fair.
We can also love her and also hate her because she straight up starts a war by killing one innocent person in Talokan.
Literally, just one. I mean, I guess you gotta have. I mean, you bring someone out of. You have someone in prison, and it's our princess. Like,
Right.
You did wrong
Yeah.
here. You understand that, right? Like, I don't know.
To be fair to Namor, he didn't lie when he's like, she did request to come with us. You know?
Yeah. It is one of those things where, like, when it happened in the moment, I was like, oh, this is how it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's, it's
It could have been like, if only Shuri could have like talked to her mom, she could have been like, oh, it's fine. I'm just hanging out with them for a minute. I'll be home soon.
Right.
But the fact that they didn't really have that good communication was like,
Mm-hmm.
But they had to do something to ramp up conflict between them.
That's a total script thing to do exactly that. And to be fair, they were still trying to kill a child.
Exactly.
That was the reason the imprisonment happened. And they're going to kill this child, and I'm trying to talk them out of it currently. And they gave me a dress. It was kind of ugly, but it's fun.
Which leads to Wakanda just getting their absolute shit pushed in. They flood it. They fuck it up. Like, Namor he's like dual wielding Wakandan helicopters and just chucking them, dude.
Why is man so strong? What the fuck is he eating? Jesus Christ, dude.
Man, I don't know.
Is he an Avenger level threat? Like, he has to be ready.
I mean, yes. Yeah, he is
an Avengers level threat.
Like that whole sequence was nuts. And I thought he looked great flying, zipping around. I like how it almost looks like he uses his feet as like the way to like move around rather than they just like fly around. He like that's his like trajectory sort of thing. I thought that was
he was dodging. They were trying to hit him with like very, very slow and one-shot weapons. It's just a bad time for a very small target.
Real bad.
Just fucking shoot everything at him.
Yeah.
I do think they really handled the way that his legs and feet work. They made it make sense. Because how are those little chicken wings going to carry anyone anywhere? That shit was dumb. He looks like a flightless bird on his legs.
Yeah, for somebody that's the first mutant, that is a fucking goofy ass. Like, okay, he was super strong. He's barely, he's basically invincible. He lives.
I'm about to say, I'd take those powers. Are you kidding me?
But to add to it, you can fly, but the way you fly is you have like Hermes ass like wings on your feet, like you're a Greek god. Like what's going on here? That was just goofy.
You have two Wingstop chicken wings on your legs.
Yeah,
and that's how you fly around.
So that was a little goofy.
Yeah, they did with it what they could. I know they had to go a weird place.
I think people would have rioted if they didn't have the wings on his feet, though. To be
That's
fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But this brings up to one of my questions when it comes down to like the parallels of Talokan and Wakanda. They both have vibranium. Wakanda has made buildings, monuments, weapons of mass destruction, airplanes. They have made 18 spears. And that is what they've made with their vibranium. How are these in the same echelon, or even they're doing better than them apparently because they were beating the shit out of Wakanda? How does that work?
Just they don't got some Namor, bro.
Like, that's kind of unfair too. It's like you just got one fucking dude he's carrying the squad. Nobody else.
Yeah,
you're good fighters, but you're not crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
I think it's different. I think they use it in different ways because I feel like I kind of lost it, but they like eat their vibranium.
Do they?
So it's more in
in the origin they mixed it. It was kind of like their own version of the heart-shaped herb that the Wakandans did.
True, I guess they have that. Yeah.
I mean, again to me, I feel it like it's a thing like because they are the only civilization underwater and they rarely interact with the surface world. It's like why what more do they need if they're comfortable with it? You know what I mean? Like we didn't see enough. Maybe they have like a scientist version of someone down there like building stuff and advancing their technology, but maybe not. Maybe they just stopped
did not
where
even
were.
Have armor on them. I guess they never had to fight anybody before. But then they're trained warriors, so apparently they're doing some kind of training for something.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's lingering questions.
Brian brought up their most lethal weapon that they had.
What's that? I don't remember.
The power of water balloons.
Oh. Yes, the only technological advancement they have is water balloons.
Yeah,
and they're crazy water balloons. Don't get me wrong, them shits go crazy. But like, bro, I have a spaceship that fucking beam me up, Scotty's people. You got a whale. Like, I don't understand.
I'm about to say, they got whales.
They got whales that can yeet them onto stuff, which, by the way, was really cool. But also,
very cool.
Kill
they got
whales.
some really intense water balloons. Some super soaker S5000 million water balloons that. I feel like I want to see what happens if you just throw one of those at a person. Like, would it destroy them, or would it just like be like my shirt is really wet right now?
It has like explosion power for sure because it blows up a whole ship. It would probably tear you from your insides the same way that Oculus Rift would.
I was gonna say it's probably the same thing as like like falling from a great height. If you hit water, it's like hitting concrete anyways. It's
Yeah.
probably like that. You probably just die immediately.
I mean, it flipped that car, and then when he stabbed that glass thing that the queen was behind, and then he threw one of those at it, and it completely shattered that glass, and also flooded the room. So I don't know. I mean, that was pretty. Like it was goofy, but at the same time, every time they started using one of those things, I was like, "Oh shit, here we go again! Like this is gonna be a problem."
Second time I thought a character would die, and I'm glad they didn't. I swear, I thought M'Baku was done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he probably should have died.
I thought they were gonna punch a hole through that man's chest, and that was gonna be the end for him. And I was like, "Damn, dude, this sucks."
Yeah, he definitely had some broken ribs from that, but he kind of just sat.
Stood
What
no
did he do
chance.
after? He kind of like sat there. Was like, okay, I guess I'm done for now.
Yeah.
He got hit so hard, he rethought his entire life story. That man was like, maybe we shouldn't go to war. Maybe we
He
should try to
did.
find peace, guys.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
You know, you guys can just come up here and hide in the mountains for a little while. They can't flood us up here. It's fine.
Right. All right, let's talk about the death of Queen Ramonda.
Ugh.
Fuck, dude. I did not think we'd see 2 fucking funerals in this
No,
movie.
I really don't think it was necessary.
She already had enough to be mad at with her brother dying. Like, I just already think that story was set up
Right.
fine.
This family
Right.
can't catch a break, dude.
And like now, because of the way they did it, we don't really, because like the whole this movie was a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, right? And like so now,
Mhm.
you know, her character doesn't really get a send off or anything, or like it's just kind of like an afterthought by the end of the story.
Her death is kind of depressing in the sense that she dies face down in a puddle of water. Like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Peak drowning shit. Like, what the
Oh.
to save that stupid scientist again, bro.
to
Fuck the scientist.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, oh, there's so much like leaning like heavy on Riri being here, but she doesn't need to be here.
Where's her fucking survivor's guilt? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
all,
Oh.
all this is her fault. Yeah,
What?
I didn't love it. I don't think I like this whole female tragic character thing that makes them kind of crazy. I don't like the word crazy, but like just make them kind of go off kilter like that. I just feel like it's
Yeah.
an overused trope at this point, and we're kind of understanding as people in 2022 that like we can
Right.
get away from that now.
Mhm. Stop the character assassination of the female heroes of the MCU. Come on.
And that is where my biggest issue of this movie starts to come in, and we'll talk about the big cameo in a second, where
Ooh.
I see
Such a
the
twist.
picture they were trying to paint with grief and Shuri and how
Mhm.
people obviously people go through grief differently. I just don't think it landed well, or not well. I don't think it landed perfectly as they wanted it to, for me at least, in the
Yeah.
sense that I see it, that the idea would like you're supposed to look at her whole journey through this movie and not just the third act. But I feel like the third act was so heavy on her choices and not as much in the first act. But maybe yes, like she's impulsive still in the first one because she can't handle the grief, and then it takes too much, and then it's all about revenge and vengeance, much like T'Challa in Civil War. So there's a parallel there.
Mm.
I just again don't think it quite worked for me.
I agree with you.
I think a lot of that comes down to her. Like I don't know if we were going to talk, like we didn't really mention it yet, but like, she's not nearly as charismatic as Chadwick Boseman. Like I think she did good in the role, but like
It sucks because she is, but she isn't. I
Yeah,
think she played.
she's good. Yeah,
I think she played a great sidekick character, and she was
Yeah.
at her best when she was being, happy and go lucky and having fun and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Of course, this isn't a movie about being happy and having fun. It's not Thor,
right.
where your best friend dies and you're just like, haha, we're gonna make a joke about it. And I
Yeah.
think that put her in a kind of tough position because they did kind of have to write her very. So I don't think it was the actor's issue at all when it came down
No.
to it.
Mhm.
But I do think it did feel she felt like one of the weaker characters throughout the story, despite the
Yeah.
story being
Yeah.
about her journey into
Right.
becoming Black Panther. Spoilers. Yeah, so it didn't sit well with me because I do think, and I think pacing for me was the big issue when it came
Mhm.
to what made her, I guess, go through this thing. And we can talk about Killmonger.
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
gets her powers, she doesn't see her mother like she thought she was
Ooh,
going to see.
that was a great
She
twist.
sees the motherfucking boy
Yeah.
whose hair is looking all
What's
cool
up,
and stuff. I don't know how
cousin?
your hair grows, even though you're fucking,
Right.
dead. Whatever. And he's like, "What's up, baby girl? It's your boy, the bad guy."
That was such a good twist because like you saw the hair sitting on the throne. You're like, oh, that's her mom. Like easy. And
Right.
it's like, oh
right.
shit. That was a great twist.
I definitely, I think because we had heard rumors that maybe he would show up, or maybe we just thought like the idea had floated around. So I wasn't surprised when he showed up. I was more just like bummed. I was like, oh, damn.
It was a robbery of a better moment.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it would have been a parallel to Chadwick or T'Challa seeing his father in the first movie, and now Shuri, she's her mother in this movie, which She does later, but it don't really make sense and whatever. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
that didn't make
but
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
it's that I was like, whatever. And so I get what they were trying to do with Killmonger being there, the one to motivate her because she's not doing the right thing, sort of in
Her
this
motivations
moment
are
of
different. They're not
yeah,
because she's trying to be noble. It's because she's trying to get
no.
revenge.
And I get what they're trying to do, but I don't think the movie fully did because, like, when she first shows up as Black Panther, for one, she chooses the Killmonger aesthetic with the gold, and she shows up, and like everyone's like, "Yes, the Black Panther's back." I'm like, "This is a moment where I'm supposed to be cheering," and I am. But even that moment, and then later when she's like kicking ass in the final battle, the music's all uplifting, but I'm like, I'm not really rooting for Shuri fully in this moment
Right.
because, like,
Right.
even in Baku's like, "This is not a good idea," but I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow you because you're the Black
Yeah.
Panther. But I'm like. So I don't know if the movie wanted me to be conflicted, which I'm assuming it did. It just didn't feel like it in the
And
moment.
it never
Yeah.
resolved it either. And I think it was the thing like we talked about where it came down to pacing with it. Like I
Yeah.
think this needed more time to simmer, and it didn't
Exactly.
get enough time.
Yep.
The Killmonger thing just happened, and then it was like, boom! I hate this motherfucker. We're gonna kill him, and then next thing you know, we're at the end of the movie, and I was like,
That's what I'm saying. This movie's so long, it
Yeah.
somehow needed to be longer.
right. And they didn't resolve that tension, which I guess they don't have to. That could be something that does happen later. That maybe she'll struggle with this for a while, but like they still wanted me to feel like I was, like you said, like I was supposed to be a happy ending. It's like it wasn't. Like
Right.
this, sure. It only because she started seeing the parallels between her and
Right.
what's his face, Namor.
I think that's why they did it that way. Is that because so that she could go right up to that moment of like, all right, now you're gonna kill him, and then she would be the one to back away from it and be like, okay, now I've learned my lesson.
And I'm afraid that that's going to be the end of it. Her mom saying, show him who you are, which that line makes me cry every time she says it. But like when she says that, I was like, oh, that's going to be the end of her arc. I hope it's not. And it doesn't not 100% seem like it will be, but I was like, oh, okay. Is that it?
and I'm gonna make a hot take right here. And when it comes to down to the point where you're just doing too much when it comes to revenge, and then ending at a point where you finally understand it's not worth it, Last of Us 2 did that better. Last of Us 2 had pretty shisty writing when it came to a lot of that especially that ending part, the ending sequence. But it did literally the same thing, where it's like you got two people that are just risking it all for whatever their beliefs that they have, and just going way too far down the revenge line to the point where they're both almost dead. So all that happening for her to finally just see, and then it's too tropey to see like the the flashbacks and the lines and stuff like that. It's like, oh, all these things are happening, and that's why I know that I can't kill him. Like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just think it didn't. That part of the writing was probably some of the weakest that I think I saw in the movie. Which is the main storyline, unfortunately.
And she'd seen T'Challa go through the same thing, and like she, like Nakia's telling her, like, like this isn't gonna make you any happier, like, but she had to get to that moment to realize that, I think.
No, yes. I just think it all happened like Brian said. Like my issue is the pacing of that third act.
Jarring.
I think it's
it was kind of jarring.
Also, she's real good at being Black Panther very quickly.
right. Instantly, she's just hanging off of shit and just beating the shit out of everybody.
She's really good at it.
Homegirl has been practicing that last year since T'Challa died.
Yo, she was scratching him up, dude. This is why Namor should invest in like a good suit to protect yourself a little bit, because he had scratch marks all over his ass.
You put on some clothes, brother. Maybe you'd be better.
Right.
You're like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the plan of like dehydrating him, because like if not, that's not even a fight, dude. That's not even a fight if they don't dehydrate him, man.
You know what plan we didn't fucking like? The plan of them taking a ship out into the middle of the goddamn Atlantic Ocean.
That was
and then
so dumb.
Drowning.
So dumb.
That was my girlfriend's main complaint after watching. She's like, why would you like go? These are the badass ocean people, and you're gonna fight them in the ocean?
Like I guess it was like to draw them out. Like they knew that they would only be drawn out if they fought on the water. But it's still like, you need an escape plan, dude.
Yeah.
Go to the island that they were going to. Like literally anything else. They're just.
I feel like it would have been cool to have like the water people coming out of the water and have like a Wakandan army coming from the beach and like have like a beach fight. I feel like that would have been really cool.
Do we consider this the final fight? Like, do we consider this like Act 3, or is this Act 4 at this point? I don't know how that works.
Oh,
this fight, but this shit. So I'm gonna tell you, for the longest time, this movie was like 9.5 for me. Like I thought this movie was incredible. I was having so much fun. I thought everything was hitting so well. Shuri's thing started to get a little bit lower. When they hit this point with the final fight, and they always do this in Marvel movies, that shit sucked. It sucked. It looked awful. The CG was weird. They're in the middle of the ocean where there's so beautiful set pieces in this movie. Some of the best stuff I've probably seen in Marvel worlds thus far. and then you put us in the middle of a cloudless, fucking buildingless ocean with the ugliest looking ship I've ever seen before in my life. It's literally just a gray block.
It looked
and
like
you put 38,000 people all on top of that fucking thing. So then all the fight scenes that could have been some of the coolest parts of the movie just become us fighting on the side of this gray fucking wall.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was really bad.
I think for me, the way I was explaining it away was like, they just did it for the aesthetic. Like they just wanted that shot of the Dora Milaje just like flying off the side of they wanted that shot and they got it and it was a really cool shot. But like, that's why they did this whole setup for that. Because like, but other than that, you're right. Like the fight was terrible. If one Wakandan gets into the water, they're just going to stab him 30,000
But I also
times.
thought that's a really dumb plan. Why would you want to fight on the side of the ship? What if that rope gets cut? Then you're
Which
fucked.
I was so disappointed in that whole scene. And I mean, a lot of things do that. I don't know enough about movies to know if it's like a budgeting thing or did they forget that they had to finish this movie? Like, yeah, you gotta like end it at some point. But it's like, it happens. Like, I mean, we all know the infamous CGI of Black Panther 1, where they had to they had to outsource it to a studio. And they paid not enough money for it, so it looked like ass. Or like Halo, the Halo series, that fucking ending scene where they fight in the barren desert, and Master Chief has no personality. It gives them that same vibe of just like, did y'all forget that this scene was gonna come up and happen? Like, why does it look like asshole so bad? And that was the time that I saw Riri Williams' face do a little shake thing, and it's not because she had some kind of it was just bad CG.
You know, it's a true like MCU movie where there's just like a bunch of characters and they have to do like they had to do the Hammerhead guy fight versus Okoye,
and it was bad. It wasn't good.
It wasn't great, but I need to talk about the second worst costume of the movie, and that is Midnight Angel Okoye.
Oh my God. That's bad.
Not even the costume. It's just the face mask thing that goes over her face. It looked I get it. It's comic accurate. It looked fucking terrible.
The way it came like up her head, like all the way to the back of her head, but not quite all the way off. It really bothered me.
I'm not going to lie. As soon as the face came down and you can't see her at all, I was like, she looks like a fucking predator.
Yes. No, they made her fucking mask thing look like Stevie Wonder. Like her dreads didn't start till back here.
It's
like why they disrespect that girl so bad?
Yeah. That and like the Iron Man suit or the Iron Heart suit, they just kind of looked like some out of like Power Rangers or something. It's like, what the fuck
it
is
was
going
not
on
great. They need
it's funny
to rework
it was
that.
self-aware that they were like, yeah, this shit's ugly. She kept calling it ugly every time she saw it, and she was right.
Okoye's right.
They were like, it's not as bad as she thinks it is. I think it looks pretty good. No, it doesn't. She's right. Absolutely.
I'd rather fight them without powers. Without the suit.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. For a split second, I definitely thought they were gonna kill Shuri. I was like, everyone's could potentially dying in this. Are they gonna kill this whole fam in this movie? I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yep.
I thought they really got mad about that COVID shit, and it was like, we don't want this girl here. We're gonna kill her, replace her again with M'Baku.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we kind of talked about her whole arc and how it didn't really work for at least me and Brian mostly. But yeah, like it was cool to see Killmonger, and I get like again adding to the pile of more stuff that they want to throw in here. There could be something said about something with the millennials and religion, because he makes the point to her saying like, you didn't even believe in the ancestral plane. Like, did you think you would go yada yada? So like, there is something to be said there. It's just very surface level, and it's like, why did you add more to this move? Like, what do you? It's just too much.
Right.
With Killmonger, an interesting thing could have been explored with like, especially more to talk about how like maybe he wasn't always being wrong when he was talking about some of the shit he was, which he wasn't. I mean, let's be real.
Right. The things he did towards those things were not great, but his ideal was
And that was the thing. It's like I was really interested as a whole in her arc of being like, yeah, she's coming from a place of hate and not so much a place of love when it comes down from this. And like, how are they going to do? Are they going to explore that differently? Is there going to be a time where she may feel a little villainous in what she does? You know, kind of Black Adam-esque, where it's like, I'm more interested in just killing the people that hurt us than I am about protecting the people that are being hurt. And then that died instantly. Killmonger was almost useless in even having lines about that because it just kind of.
Although I will say, when he's like, "Do you want to be like your brother?" Blah blah blah, or do you want to be me and get shit done? In my head, I was like, "You died. You lost."
What shit did you get done? Nothing.
I was like, "You got shit done, but you died eventually."
You were king for 20 minutes, and then you fell into the ocean.
You lost. Take this L. And
I was like, so no, I don't want to be like you. You lost.
Right.
Don't you want to be like me? No, you did.
That's why I think it was a cool cameo, and they also were trying to push her in a more revengey kind of path, and they were trying to justify that. So I think that was another way.
Right.
You know, that's what the movie was trying to get us to.
Although, did it cross any of your guys' mind? Because it slightly did, that you would get some kind of Chadwick something. whether you saw like a digital version
Like
of
a
him or
Panther.
just his voice, like from they pulled audio from past movies, even if him, because there's probably times where he's just said Shuri, and for a second, I thought the thing that stops her from killing Namor, maybe she just hears his voice. She just hears him say Shuri in her head. You don't even have to cut to him like they did with to Angela Bassett. They cut to her saying something. You don't even have to cut to him, but if she heard his voice, I thought something like that would happen in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of happy they didn't. I don't know. I'm conflicted.
That's how I feel about it. I'm happy they didn't do anything that Chadwick wasn't here for, didn't see. Like, just keep him completely out of the movie. I think that's the way to do it. But I mean, in the first one, when he goes to the ancestral plane, his dad is like a panther and then turns into his human self, like in those trees. So they could have done something like that, but I don't know.
I wouldn't like that. I would have thought that would have been a poor fit.
I
like your
so
idea.
as well, yeah, I think it's just. I think they did everything about Chadwick's death. They did very tastefully, and I think no changes are good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like I feel both ways. I think that it would have probably been more powerful for to do that instead of giving me a bunch of clips or whatever of Angela Bassett doing stuff. But I could understand why you just wouldn't even want to touch that because you don't want to really. I don't like the digitizing of dead people. I think that's super weird and uncanny.
I agree.
I don't like the digitizing of people's voices that are dead. I don't. No. I know Disney likes to do it the most. I kind of hope they. I'm glad they stayed away from this one. I wonder if that's the director / like the writer's like decision himself. And
I do really wonder what ideas floated about. Even like what for one thing, prior to his death, what this story would have been, and then obviously with his death, if there were any other, like there had to have been millions of ideas floating about. What do we do? Do we put the like I would just love to hear some of those things. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
That's pretty much the movie. Epilogue. I thought the ending was kind of abrupt. Again, that fourth act, as we said, pacing's weird as hell.
They really forgot they had to finish this movie.
Yeah,
I truly feel like they did.
One final thing on the last fight. I think the reason that her mom could talk to her was because she got fucking stabbed straight through the belly. So maybe they were saying
she was
seeing God.
Well, I think because like isn't the whole thing with entering the ancestral plane is you have to kind of die a little bit and then you like come back. So like I think that was maybe that she was kind of dying like close to death, and then that's how I don't know. That's how I understood that. But she also like slid off of that was a lot for like an MC movie.
I told you, I thought she was dead, dude.
Yeah, no. I really hate the absence of blood in some of this stuff because they're cutting each other up. And I was like, what?
Newsflash: if you slide off a broken spear, you're gonna be bleeding a lot. Like
that's literally you're just right in your intestines, just hanging out, just fucking.
Ugh.
She really burned the fuck out of Namor though. Like, damn, she set his ass on fire.
Yeah, and he still lived. I thought he was dead there. Like I thought he was just dead. Like
I was so Oh god, yeah. But the little bit of epilogue they have, I was confused, and maybe you guys have the answer for me. Is M'Baku king?
That's a great question.
Because like he comes out saying like the Black Panther's not coming, but I'm here and I want to challenge. Who the fuck is he challenging?
Yeah, true.
He just said she's not gonna beat. Like I was so kind of confused. I'm like, am I supposed to read that he is going to be king, and that's why she went to Haiti because she doesn't want to be? I'm so confused.
They also still called her princess at the end too. They didn't call her queen, so she's not queen right now.
I mean, maybe it's like a thing that she's not queen until like you are sworn in type of thing, maybe. But either way, I was so very confused. Or because I thought like, oh, he's just like having a laugh like he did in the first movie where he challenged. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of odd.
Mid credits, and I thought the tears were all gone for me at this point, and then this happened.
Another moment of silence for your boy.
You've got to be fucking kidding me with this mid credit scene. He's got a baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's a grown ass man. That child's like 12.
I did love the little send off too with like the little clips, and then she burned the.
Oh yes, yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
That hit all over again. I was in my feels all over again. God damn it.
Also, isn't that comic book accurate that his son is also T'Challa?
I don't know, but I know it's a way for them to get recast T'Challa though.
Right. Yep. I was like, they really set that one up easy.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brandon, but you can call me T'Challa. All right, dude. Weird ass kid.
I just want to know. They're definitely not going to wait 20 years for to bring this character back.
Nah, they'll do like a teenage Black Panther movie.
I can't wait to hear the explanation as to how this kid's going to age 20 years in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be 2 years? Think it's going to be that soon? Or you think they're setting out for
I don't know.
6, 7?
I would not be surprised if we see some kind of T'Challa in Secret Wars or something.
Oh, that's
cool. Maybe just the multiverse one, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I figured they'd give Shuri a couple more like Avengers adjacent stuff, and then one more solo movie, and then they'll probably move on after that point. I don't know how long that'll take, but
Yeah, I don't know. And it's convenient that Nakia was not in Infinity War or Endgame, and it's
Mm.
because she had a baby. So
Mhm.
I was like, oh, way to work around your scripts, guys.
Yeah.
What's that timeline on that though? When did Infinity War happen? Like
I mean, it's been
canonically,
6
is it,
years, I think, at this point.
that child is not 6.
That
That child's
baby,
at
that
least
kid's
10.
supposed to be 6, I think.
That is not a 6-year-old child. That is at least a 10-year-old boy, if not older.
Because they said I think they said that well, it had been a year since he passed, and I think this took place the year they all came back? I don't know, though.
I don't
So that was
know.
5 years after we last saw him, so
Mhm.
I don't
that
know.
kid's not
Don't think about
10.
it too hard. Don't think about it too much. Yeah, but it was also convenient. Yeah, it was a convenient way to sideline Nakia, and but also who was watching that
Right.
kid when she was on her secret mission?
That whole
All of Haiti.
school, they had all that school with all them
Who
kids
who was
speaking
watching the
French and
future
stuff.
heir of Wakanda? And also, you're gonna raise him in Haiti, where he doesn't know anything about vibranium and no technology stuff like. I
Well,
get it,
clearly he knows who his father and the queen has met, so he knows, I think.
but like he's gonna get back to Wakanda, and they're like, all right, we need to talk about like the vibranium tech. Like his first council meeting, he's like, all right, we got to talk about the vibranium tech stuff like that. He's gonna be like, what is that? Like, don't really know.
Well,
What that
now he's got
is.
his Aunt Shuri there because she's like, she got some grief to still go through, and
True.
maybe she'll
True.
teach him a thing or two.
She gonna make him a little suit.
That was nuts. I could not believe that they did that. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
And
Very
then
cool.
Black Panther will return at the end of the credits, and no post credit scene, which I'm not surprised because I don't think that we would need it to see anymore.
Yeah. Usually they're just gags anyway.
Yeah.
What could they have done? Something with Martin Friedman, maybe, or Martin. What's his name?
Yeah, Martin Freeman's his name.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm tired of post-credit scenes. I literally Google them before I even leave to go home to go to the movie theaters because I just don't even want to sit there and look stupid at the end. We definitely had some people that were sitting there looking stupid, and I walked right out that bitch.
That's a pro gamer move, Brian.
Yes,
it is.
absolutely.
It is.
I ain't got time for this nonsense anymore. It's because of that. People think there should be post-credit scenes in other movies too, and there's never. It's a Marvel thing. It's like a Disney.
I
thing.
know. I know.
Yeah. But I do like the mid-credit scene is always just a continuation of the story. The post-credit
Right.
scene is usually just something stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like an extra Easter egg. I think Thor's was, but yeah. And
Mhm.
also we know Ant-Man's next, so like we know what the future is. I don't think what more do we have?
Yeah.
That's Black Panther. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Again, love the movie. I definitely think I'll love it more a second time around.
Yeah.
It had a lot to do, and
Mhm.
it just like watching this movie made me really once again go back 2 years, just being like, it really sucks that Chadwick Boseman is gone, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
really
there's
sucks.
some really good stuff that could have happened.
Yeah.
For his career was amazing as a whole in just the little
Mhm.
time that we had with him. So I couldn't imagine the kind of stuff he could do.
Yeah.
If he was still with us.
One last parallel. Shout out to the meme that Brian sent us. But Wanda, Shuri, like I think it's okay to be a little mad when your entire families are murdered. I feel like you just need a few minutes. We just need to give them a few minutes to not save the world.
Listen,
or to not just destroy it. Okay.
yeah.
I would have been just like Shuri, no question, absolutely.
Come on, just stop the character assassination of these women. I'm tired of
I'm
it.
worried for baby T'Challa now. Like this family's cursed, dude. They
Yeah.
all die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
Shuri's next.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, love the movie. Hate that fucking ending fight scene. It's a Marvel original though. I'm used to it at this point. I still hate it though.
Better or
Yeah.
worse, real quick, than the first one?
I would say exactly the same, only because of that last third act. That fighting, the whole fighting scene was put it out. It would have been better in my opinion. I think Black Panther had its own issues. The first one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one I might like more, mostly just because it's
Yeah.
a happier film.
This
It's
is
more
true.
of a celebration of Black
yeah,
culture
like adding-
as a whole,
yeah.
whereas this one I'm just like sad 90% of the
is-
time.
Right.
A tragedy for sure.
Yeah.
Either way, they're both on the upper level of like
Yes,
MCU movies,
absolutely.
like for quality, for story, for acting, like everything across the
Oh, yeah.
board. Like the two Black Panthers are very close to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Devin's just trying to be woke. Yeah.
Wakanda Forever, guys. Okay. Wakanda
Hey,
Forever.
guys, am I invited to the cookout? Can I grab a plate?
I can put salt and pepper in my potato salad. I promise.
All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. Everyone should check this out. Bring some tissues.
Absolutely.
Shall we now move on to our final segment of the week, which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, we can kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something. We can talk about our day. We can talk about Sonic Frontiers. The
Ooh.
only great game to come out last week, the year of our Lord 2022.
Game of the year, boys. No notes.
I
10
will
out of
go
10.
first. I
Okay.
am talking about Sonic. Just kidding.
No, fuck off. Get out of here. Delete this man from the podcast. We don't want to hear about this other game that came out from Sony
I
Santa
am talking
Monica.
about God of War Ragnarok,
Ooh.
baby. It's it's a tiny little indie game. It also came out. Obviously, Sonic sold way better. But it's a sequel to the original God of War, which is technically not the original God of War from 2018. It's fucking great, man.
Ooh.
What day is it? It's been like 4 days since it came out. I've already logged in over 30 hours of that game.
Oh damn, son. Have you beaten it yet, or is it a long game? It's super long.
It's a long. I'm not done. I'm not done yet.
Damn.
I don't know where I am in the story. I have no clue. I'm not trying to look up a walkthrough to see like how many more main missions I have. So I don't even know where I'm at. It feels like I'm over halfway, but I've also heard this game could be played for anywhere from 30 to 60 hours. So I have no
Whoa.
idea.
Is that like with all collection and stuff, or is that just story?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't got time to play these kind of games, dude.
I don't
Like,
know.
what the
I'll
fuck?
let you know because right now I'm playing this like I played the first one, where I do as much of everything as the game lets me, because it's one of those games where it's like a Zelda, like you go back when you have new abilities type of thing to unlock other paths. So I'm doing everything that the game allows me to, pretty much. So if you just do story, it would be you wouldn't be where I'm at. You'd be probably done potentially or something. But I will just say, as a whole, I'm not going to spoil anything because the story is great. I'm having a lot of fun. It is definitely not what I expected, in terms of some of the interactions with some of these characters, and I love it. It's great. At first when I started playing, it did feel like, oh, it's just God of War again, and it kind of is.
It
It's
looks
more of the
pretty
same.
similar.
Yeah.
I was watching some of the gameplay, and I was like, maybe it's not different enough.
Yes and no. It does become slightly different in ways that I definitely did not expect later in the game, where I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But it could be seen in, like, if I was the most negative way possible, it could be seen as like, this is the most beautiful, biggest DLC to that first game.
Okay.
Oh, no.
But that's the most negative side. But it's so good and it's so great, and the combat is so good that I'm like, I'm glad they didn't change that much. But they did add a lot of stuff that I've just now being introduced to 30 hours into the game. I'm still getting new stuff and learning new things,
Oh,
which
shit.
is kind of nuts.
So, like, compared to like Horizon Forbidden West, how I haven't played either of these games
I
as
would
a whole.
say they're both kind of similar in the sense that they both, you know how like The Last of Us Part 2 feels like a different game?
Yes.
The Horizon and God of War, I would say, lean more towards each other in that they're more similar to the original than Last of Us is.
I wonder how I'd feel about that.
Last of Us was definitely a bigger leap than those two were. I'll say that.
Okay. Which, I mean, it's fine if the gameplay's already that solid. Like, maybe you don't
Exactly.
change too much.
I don't really have any complaints on that first God of War's gameplay anyway, so more of the same and plus additional is great for me, you know.
Yeah.
And the story
cool.
is top notch so far. We'll see when it's done if I like it more or less than the second one. We'll see how this ending gets, because as we know, this is the end to this Norse saga that they've said they're only doing 2. This is the end of it. So I don't know how this is gonna ramp up, dude. I'm waiting for Ragnarok.
2 seems like a weird number. Why not just do a trilogy?
Was weird. I think they did say they originally were gonna do a trilogy, but then they changed their mind to 2, which made this game much bigger than it originally was
Gotcha.
anticipated to be.
Are you gonna kill Odin?
He already has.
So no, I haven't. I'm just kidding.
I feel like in the trailer I saw you're gonna fight Thor, so like that.
He's Fat Thor too.
Yeah, Fat Thor.
Big Thor.
But not
Big Thor.
Fat, not playing video games Thor. Fat, like I'll fuck
Right.
you up with this hammer.
I'm gonna stomp you out. Yeah.
Power lifter Thor for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'll play it in 2 years when it comes out on PC.
Yeah. I was about to say, you haven't even played the first one yet,
I
have
already
you?
played the first one.
I saw you play the first 10 minutes.
I sure did. I bought that game for $8, and now it came out on PC, and now I'm like, damn. I really just want to get it on PC.
You should. Yeah, I mean,
PlayStation 4.
play it the way you want to, because
Yeah.
it is a phenomenal game. Yeah.
Damn. If I could ever get a PS5 one day, maybe.
Hey, it's getting better. It's getting slightly better now.
I mean, to be fair, this one also did come out on PS4.
Yes,
Oh.
it doesn't look so good though, and that's pissing me off too. That's another reason I'd be like, I'd want to play it on
Which
PC.
is what I will say is like, and this sounds like really probably terrible, but we're 2 years into this new generation, and I kind of want, like, I'm hoping that they didn't have to limit this game because they had to put it on PS4 as well. Because like we've heard those things with like some of the games, like with Switch, they have to limit stuff, and like whoever worked on that Gotham Knights game said the same thing about the Xbox Series, whatever the shittier one. I don't know what it's called. Said that how that's that.
The
I mean,
fridge.
there's a lot of reasons that game didn't turn out as well as it should have, but one of them they said is because they had to work on make sure it worked on this older shit, and so I kind of I'm waiting for like a Last of Us 3 type of game that uses everything that it's got. You know what I mean?
This will definitely probably be one of the longer generations, if not the longest generation of gaming, because of this
I
issue.
hope so.
Literally because we've hit like a weird peak of just ability as it comes right now anyway.
Right.
And then also just there's been such a bad supply issue. I think 2020 just COVID just ruined so many things. And also I think some of it's a little bit fake scarcity to raise sales.
No, Sony looked over at what Nintendo does with false scarcity. And they're just doing that shit. I mean, they're just driving up that demand for sure.
Right. But yeah, I think because of that, we're probably going to be sitting that for a while. But if you're done, I can talk about, speaking of things that have definitely been a little bit crunchier because they're made for other systems. I played Sonic Frontiers.
Oh,
yes! Yes!
Oh, God.
I can't believe you actually bought it day one.
My game of the year. Yeah, I did buy it day one. I downloaded it as soon as I got home.
You're such a... I remember like episodes long ago when we talked about it, he was like, I'm going to wait like 6 months to buy that game.
I said I was gonna. And then I saw a little bit more gameplay and I was like, there might be something here. There might be something here. And to be completely perfectly honest with you, I wasn't wrong in that. This game isn't nearly as terrible as it could have been.
That's great.
There are some performance issues, and some of that has to go with what we were talking about because especially this game had to run on the Switch, which is really unfortunate. And that's a killer whenever a game has to run on the fucking Switch.
Switch.
The goddamn Nintendo games, dude. You always got to make, like, I remember Wii Call of Duty gameplay like shit. So because of that, there's some performance issues. I'm playing on PC, of course, which is probably the best way to play. They do frame cap it at 60 frames per second, so this game can run at decent frame rates. But there is this terrible thing that we like to call pop-in. Something that I haven't seen since maybe PS2 era of video gaming, where you can't load assets far enough, so they just kind of pop in. Right. A lot of games will kind of hide that behind, like cloudy areas that you can't see yet, things like that. There's tricks to keep this away. Sonic's really fucking fast. That's kind of his thing. So when you're moving at fucking Mach speed and you run up on something and you just hit a brick wall that you didn't even see because it pops in, that feels really fucking bad. And you would think that you would probably have fixed that or changed something about it in order to make that not happen. They did not do that. And I think a lot of it had to do because they had to make this run on last generation systems and this generation systems and PC. And the game's like, it's not the ugliest game I've ever seen in the world, but it's not exactly a technical marvel.
Right.
But I'm having fun. I'm actually having fun. After all those negative things I just said, I'm actually having fun. Good. I didn't think I was going to be for this, but I do like that they have taken some risks with Sonic, what they haven't done in a while. And some hit and some miss. There's a little bit of both in that. So I can't be mad at them for trying to try something new. And I do think that there is something that can be made from this kind of open world mix that they've had. Because I don't know if you guys... I gotta sure you probably haven't played any Sonic games ever, because who the fuck would?
Played Sonic 2 on the Sega Genesis.
Hell yeah. But yeah, the Sonic Adventure game specifically that came on a Dreamcast had like an overworld, and then you like walk to the maps. And this is kind of similar in that you have like an overarching world, and it's not just that green fucking Unreal Engine whatever. There's multiple maps that you get to play on, which thank God. And you get to do stuff. It's a little Assassin's Creed-ish where you have like missions and stuff that you gotta do.
Oh no.
To explore. Yeah, I liked it until you don't, for the same reason Assassin's Creed I liked it until I didn't. Because it gets fucking boring after a while. You start doing the same things, they start being similar, and that's kind of a buzzkill. But I don't think they knew what they were doing with this. So the fact that they even made an Assassin's Creed level game is a win.
That's kind of nuts, yeah.
To be honest, Breath of the Wild is honestly not how I would describe it. It's more like it's got Kingdom Hearts vibes to it.
I knew it. It's
got Kingdom Hearts vibe to it. Basically, what you do is you have the world, and you can like fight enemies and monsters. You're basically trying to collect these things in order to get the Chaos Emeralds to fight the big bad of each like area. I've currently done 2 areas so far. I think there's going to be 3 total. So I think I'm 2/3 through the game so far. And then there's these portals that you go in that you get like currency to unlock new stuff, and that's where the levels come. That's the classic Sonic levels. They're fun. They're the part of Sonic that I enjoy the most because you get to time trial kind of stuff.
Right.
But the fight sequences, some of them are actually really interesting. Of some of these bosses, they're very cinematic, like Kingdom Hearts. So it's a lot of pushing buttons to do things, but you're not actually doing it. Which, there's criticisms about that now in 2022.
You press a button every now and then and Sonic does something, yeah.
But it looks fucking cool. Like, some of this shit just looks fucking crazy. And then the music's pumping, soundtrack's amazing. So you're just having a great time. Like, that's awesome. And then you go back to collecting shit for a little while and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel as cool. But I don't know. The game controls really well. It doesn't feel too clunky. I do think that they have something here that they could actually make a real good Sonic game from if they want to try that again.
That's dope.
I give it a solid like 7 out of 10, which is way
considering what we expected.
Way better than I expected.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I look at like 6.5, 7 out of 10 for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Considering when we first saw this, we thought this was going to be a dumpster fire.
I thought it was going to be a complete flop. I was ready to give this shit a 3 out of 10. Worst game I've ever played in the recent years.
Wow.
Good for Sonic.
Happy to be pleasantly surprised, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I can go real quick for mine. I'll just do my 2 little things for mine. First, DC EU update for my girlfriend watching it. We still have not finished Man of Steel.
Jesus Christ.
30 minutes.
She really wants to start Batman v Superman, but I will not do it until we get the last 20 minutes of Man of Steel, which I feel like should not be that hard. So anyway, we're at an impasse there.
That's funny.
And then, guys, yesterday, this is a soft flex, but we went we took an ATV through Sedona, Arizona. And the only thing I could think of the whole time driving that thing was like, this is just like a warthog at Halo.
And this is why we need to get Devin. Devin's out the house all the time. You're out the house more than most people. You touch the most grass out of anybody I know. And you still have thoughts like that.
I'm telling you, we were driving over some rocks and stuff. I'm like, I don't think this vehicle can drive up this rock, but I'm going to hit the accelerator and see what happens. And it would just go up this like very rocky, not road kind of trail. So
hey man, just know
do it.
that if you flip it, you got to press Y to flip it back.
That's what I said. If we
You'll
flip
just
it, it's
pop
okay.
right out next to it.
It'll just flip itself in the air, and then we'll be okay again. You just got to make sure you set it on a flat surface. Yeah, I was thinking about like if there was a guy in the turret behind us, like could he shoot very well? And no, like for a lot of that bumpy right on. On the smooth ground, they'd be fine. Those things are so smooth that the suspension, like they're pretty smooth.
So you got to drive it, like you got to operate one yourself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. The most I've driven an ATV is in my friend's backyard in middle school. I hurt myself.
It was very, very cool. They're like, just don't damage it. Don't, just stay on the trail. You'll be okay. And I was like, I'm staying on the trail.
I like it. Don't damage it. Devin's like, I don't think I can do this. I'm going to try it and do it anyways.
Yeah. They're like, just stay on the trail. You'll be fine. I'm like, I'm staying on the trail. And I don't really think that, like, I think this whole vehicle is just going to break apart at some point, but it held together and just does that stuff all day.
That's awesome. That's a hell of an experience.
Could not stop thinking about Halo. It's like, wow, this is just like
Devin, you are one step closer to being Master Chief in real life now.
Hell yeah, dude. Go ahead and get you a cosplay and an ATV.
Hey, I would do it.
Right?
I would do it.
Next thing we see, Devin's going to be posting pictures of him on that ATV with just the Master Chief helmet on.
Nothing else.
I'm pretty sure somebody made a warthog in real life, so we're not far.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not far off.
They Halo sold it specifically.
Oh, they did?
Lord.
Oh,
yeah.
Did I miss the sweepstakes? Shit.
You probably did, yeah. I think they ended up giving it to a pro player or something, which was kind of shitty, but I think he sold it eventually.
Makes sense.
That's amazing, though, dude. I love that for you. That's great.
Yeah, it was fun. That
is our show, listeners. You can email us at thefortresssub@gmail.com. Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, or recommendations, or anything like that. You follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. I got nothing because this movie was too sad. I got nothing.
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, the GOAT.
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. You will be missed literally forever. Your legacy will live forever. No one will ever forget you. Yeah, rate, review the show. Preferably 5 stars. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Alex for the music. Devin, thank you for being here, even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_, by the way. Alex at Peterson Films. And Devin, you can find him being the lone white guy in Wakanda.
Wakanda Forever, everybody. Let's go.
Invited to the cookout.
Just picture me as the white guy from She-Hulk. Wakanda Forever.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Next week. I don't know. We'll do something. Hopefully you'll be listening, listeners.
What's out?
Nothing till Avatar.
Damn. I have to go see a not superhero movie at the cinema. I'm going to do.
Lots of underwater stuff. I saw a trailer for a Little Mermaid as well. Underwater apparently is a thing coming, man. It's just in.
Doesn't Avatar come out like in a few weeks?
Have we cut yet? What's happening over here?
In a month. Yeah. All right. Happy holidays, everyone. We'll see. Put a code out there.
If I can put a rain jacket, it's wet out there. Jesus Christ. What are we talking about? Little Mermaid?
All right, we'll see you next week in another episode of The Fourtress of